Spoiler warning for all 3 books of Infinity Train. This is your final warning. Infinity Train spoilers. Holy crap, y'all, the end of Infinity Train Book 3 was wild. I think this might be my favorite of the seasons we've seen so far, but one of the most fun things about Infinity Train is speculation. So let's talk about Book 4. Now, before we start, I want to make clear there is no confirmation for Book 4 yet, and if you want more Infinity Train to happen, you have to watch on HBO Max. Not just watch, but tell your friends to watch on HBO Max. The more people who watch it legally on the streaming service provided, the more likely we are to get more episodes. That being said, I would not be surprised if they surprise drop Book 4 on us the same way they did Book 3. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I would be very surprised if Book 4 isn't already a thing that we'll see on HBO Max in about 6 months. That being said, there's definitely not any more after Book 4, if it even exists, so you need to watch this stuff on HBO Max. Tweet about it, tell your friends about it, just get hype about Infinity Train. If we want more, we have to make it happen. So with all that, let's jump into the exciting speculation about Book 4 of Infinity Train. So I think there are very clear candidates to star in Book 4, Hazel and Amelia. Hazel was obviously a huge focus in Book 3, but when it comes to answering her mysteries, we really only got the broad strokes. We know that she's a failed attempt to bring Ulrich back, but she's not a clone, something different according to Amelia.
Something else, I don't know.
On the surface, it would appear as though Hazel has some of Ulrich's memories, but the question is, how did Hazel obtain Ulrich's memories? The train can access people's memories, but it needs access to that person to retrieve them. I think the only real possibility is that Amelia tried to use her own memories that she shared with Ulrich to recreate him. And there's some solid evidence for this. The few memories that Hazel seems to have or hint at all seem to be shared with Amelia and Ulrich. In the debutante ball car, Hazel says she took dance lessons, and back in the past car, we can see a snapshot of Amelia and Ulrich taking dance lessons together. In the Hey Ho Whoa car, Hazel tells Amelia she's good at cooking pancakes, and there's another snapshot memory of Amelia and Ulrich making pancakes together. This one is a little more abstract, but Hazel is playing with sticks with Amelia, and she asks her what she thinks they are.
I think they're sticks.
They're robots.
And one of the scenes we see in the past car, Ulrich is pretending to be a robot.
But you're obviously a robot.
Before Amelia proposed to him. Though I think the smartest hint that Hazel was formed from some of Amelia's strongest Ulrich-centric memories comes from the campfire car. When Hazel says she wants to have a funeral for Tuba, this is how she phrases it.
It would be good for me to go to a funeral.
Of course, one of Amelia's absolute strongest memories of Ulrich has to be the fact that she never actually went to his funeral. So while Hazel was Amelia's attempts to bring back Ulrich, I think ultimately Hazel might be more of a reflection of Amelia. The really obvious hint towards this is that her immobile number is the same as Amelia's when she got on the train.
This was my number.
To me, what makes the most sense for Book 4 is that Amelia's further investigation into Hazel will reveal a real reflection of Amelia herself. Maybe a younger, less jaded version of herself. One that will allow her to really do the type of self-examination she needs in order to make a real dent in that number. Facing the person she was before Ulrich's death might be exactly what Amelia needs to start to move on. I mean, God, can you imagine a scene where Hazel talks to Amelia about Tuba and tells her about the funeral she had for her? And Amelia just breaks down by realizing the mistake she made not going to Ulrich's funeral? These are the kinds of gripping emotional moments the show is best at. So if the focus is on Amelia and Hazel, the next question is, what are they actually doing on the train? Well, I think Book 3 held a lot of hints towards this as well. We know Amelia is doing her best to make amends and fix the issues she caused on the train in her time as the false conductor. She's in the process of locating cars that contain pieces of her experiments, such as Hazel herself, via this scanner. Those cars are then quarantined instead of Amelia's scarier option, ejection. It seems that Amelia and 1-1 are trying to reconcile the additions she made to the train. Can they find a place on the train to exist? What happens if they can't? What does that mean for Hazel? The show has already examined similar themes in Book 2 with Lake. She was able to make her way off the train with Jessie and claim her own agency. Will we see similar ideas explored with Hazel? Amelia seems to believe that ejection is the easier option for all of her creations, but 1-1 seems to take issue with this approach, possibly in part due to his experience with Lake in Book 2. My gut tells me that through her experiments and time with Hazel, Amelia will grow significantly and become truly attached to her. She's basically her mother, and in the end, she won't allow Hazel to be ejected. It will probably help inspire Amelia to find another solution to these cars that shouldn't be. The question after that is, can Hazel find a way off the train as well? It will also be really interesting to see them explore Hazel's turtle form. In Book 3, we started to see that Hazel actually had some control over it after a while. I'm curious if the transformation will move even further than what we've seen. Will she gain more control over it, or will strong emotional outbursts affect her transformation even more? There's so many possibilities. And then there's the idea of following up with Grace and the new Apex. The finale of Book 3 was hardcore, and it left us with an entirely new outlook for the Apex. one that will help the kids lower their numbers and leave the train. I definitely think this could be a great focus for a follow-up season, although given the contents of book 3, I think we are much more likely to see an Amelia and Hazel season than a new Apex season for book 4. That being said, I do think Grace's story isn't finished. She definitely won't leave the train until she makes amends with Hazel. The question is, will they fit this idea into an Amelia/Hazel season, or will they save it for a follow-up Grace/new Apex season? I really love the idea of exploring the bond the Apex members have forged together even beyond their time on the train. Once all these kids return to the real world, they'll have to stay in touch and find each other. It's kind of like the end of summer camp. They're going home to places all over the globe, but hey, here's my email address. I just love how far the exploration of this world can go. It gets me really stoked. God, guys, please watch the show on HBO Max. I really want to keep talking about it for like a few more years at least. Needless to say, I'm pretty stoked on Infinity Train. And again, if you want more of the show, I know I just said this, but please watch it on repeat on HBO Max. Just do it. It's gonna really help. Watch it over and over again. Tell your friends and family to watch it. Tweet about it. Share this video. Anything you can do to show that people are excited about Infinity Train. They deserve to do as many seasons as they want, but I also want to hear what you think. Did you love book 3 as much as I did? What do you think book 4 will be about? There's some other interesting candidates for book 4 ideas as well, like maybe this dude who Lake just totally ditched when he was on his way to the tape car. Man, he's got to be the most confused guy on the Infinity Train. But give me your theories down below, and if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and all that because it really helps out the channel. I've got one more Infinity Train video planned before the long wait for book 4, so stay tuned. Peace!
Johnny to Cellos.